Hi, welcome to Adapt Productions. My name is Gary Arnold. I am the manager of public affairs at Access Living. And joining me now, we have Emily Harris. She is the executive director of ADA 25 Chicago. Welcome, Emily.
Thanks, Gary. Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming. So now we're in, it's late 2015. 2015 is the 25th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The official anniversary was back on July 26th, but we're late in 2015, and there is still all kinds of stuff going on related to the anniversary. So tell me a little bit about ADA 25 Chicago, what the goal is, and what are some of the things that have happened.
Great. Well, the idea of ADA 25 Chicago is, first of all, to recognize that disability is a natural part of the human experience, and that the ADA was a way to help the world change, to make sure that people with disabilities were fully participating in our communities, and that while a lot has happened, we know that that promise is not complete. And so the idea of ADA 25 Chicago was to gather people from all walks of civic life in the Chicago region and to encourage people to take action to promote inclusion and accessibility.
Okay. And what was the original goal, and how is that goal compared to what you've seen happen over the past year or so?
Well, I think we hoped that we'd get 100 or so organizations to be involved, to help promote public awareness around these issues, and also to start to make change in the areas of employment, education, and community inclusion. And we've been delighted at the response. We have over 200 partners that have now signed on from all walks of life, really. The business community, the cultural community has been hugely represented, parks and public agencies. There's really a broad array of people who are signing on and saying, what can we do to make the Chicago region more accessible?
And what are some of these groups doing?
Well, we have a huge variety, ranging from people who are creating new committees to look at accessibility within their own wheelhouse, training their staff, looking at increasing their workforce of people with disabilities. We have several big legacy projects that are moving forward, and one of the most exciting is creating what's called the Chicagoland Business Leadership Network, that is an affiliate of the US BLN and focuses on expanding inclusion of people with disabilities in the workplace, the supply chain, and the marketplace. This November 16th and 17th, we will be having an Opportunity Summit, and we're doing that with CBLN. One day of it is really focused on leadership in the areas of employment and technology and education. And the second day is an opportunity for companies to come together and learn from each other about the best practices to creating an inclusive workforce. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the big projects moving forward. Another is,
before we go on to that one, if we could talk a little bit, employment seems to be a significant focus of the legacy projects and of the initiatives, at least trying to get companies or organizations involved on the employment spectrum. Why is employment such a big issue in disability?
You know, when the ADA was passed, it had several goals, and one was to create more inclusion in our public realm. So buses and trains and restaurants and other public parks, sidewalks, and a lot of that has been accomplished. It's really been a huge game changer in terms of people being able to get to work, for instance. But in terms of the actual employment of people with disabilities, the numbers have hardly changed at all. Mm-hmm. And one of the key goals that the authors of the ADA talked about was economic self-sufficiency. Well, how do you get there if you don't have jobs?
Right.
So about 35% of people with disabilities in Illinois who are of working age are actually in the workforce. That compares to 75% of people without disabilities.
Huge gap.
So it's a huge gap, and really one of our major goals has been to see how can we help close that gap. There's a lot of efforts happening nationally, and employers are finding that hiring people with disabilities is not only the right thing to do, but really a good thing to do for their own businesses. It's really having a workforce that mirrors your consumer base. 10% of the population in Illinois, and probably more, 10% of the population reports to the census that they have a disability. It's probably more like 20%. In terms of those who don't report. And if you want to reach that market, you need to understand it by having employees in your own company. And in addition, companies are reporting that they find people with disabilities to have huge loyalty to the company, great productivity, and that actually it's helping their bottom lines when they really think about how to effectively be inclusive in their workforce.
Okay. All right. So the goal of the summit, day 2 of the summit, then, is going to be kind of share some of these best practices for an inclusive workforce, and then hope that that kind of lays the groundwork for more hiring and recruitment in the future?
Absolutely. And the summit is just a first step. It's really creating an organization that's a business-to-business organization where companies can have a safe place to learn from each other about issues like how to encourage people to disclose safely, how to give accommodations in the most effective way, how to learn from each other about recruitment, and creating that pipeline of people with disabilities who can be effective in the workplace.
Okay, all right. Now let's go back. You were about to mention another legacy project. No, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but go forward now.
Well, another one that we're really excited about is a leadership institute for people with disabilities that's looking at how do we create a civic infrastructure of boards, commissions, appointed office, and professional growth that is fully inclusive. And so that if 10 or 20% of our population is people with disabilities, we need to see that same kind of statistic in our leadership. And we're starting with a training session for 16 fellows of the Leadership Institute. They'll be introduced at the summit.
Oh, nice.
And then looking at creating, even more important, what we're calling an appointments project, where we will be creating a database of people who have the leadership skills and want to serve, and trying to create matches with organizations that may have positions on their boards, or public officials who want to appoint people to commissions and are saying to us, we want to include people with disabilities, but we can't find them. This will be an intermediary to try to bring those two together.
Okay, all right. And I think we've just got a couple minutes left, so real quick, I think there was also a legacy project regarding cultural institutions in Chicago.
Yeah, when you ask me what people are doing, it's really exciting to see the cultural community step up. There are going to be more than 150 performances and exhibits over the next several months that will be fully inclusive of people with disabilities, whether it's a touch tour for a theater or a museum, or an interpreted performance, captions, and also staff training. So we have over close to 50 cultural institutions that have stepped up and are doing things this year.
How does one learn, like what some of those events are?
Well, right now it's look at our website, which is ada25chicago.org.
Okay.
We also have a Facebook page, and a lot of those things are being promoted in that way. Another long-term legacy project will be an app that will list all of those cultural events.
Excellent.
So we're looking forward to that coming out in the next year.
Okay. And maybe just real quick, last thing, in your time as executive director of this amazing project, what's been one of the highlights for you?
I think the highlight is just people stepping up. The Chicago Community Trust started this thinking that we really needed to find a way to broaden the dialogue. And what's been really interesting is how people are just excited about it and want to jump in.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for all of your work and the work of your team on ADA 25 Chicago. It's really kind of been a game changer in Chicago this year. So this has been Adapt Productions. I'm with Emily Harris talking about ADA 25 Chicago, and thanks for joining us. I'm Gary Arnold.
Hello, this is Tom Wilson. I work at Access Living, and I'm here today to interview several people from Independent Voices. The first person I'm going to interview is Ronald Thomas. And Ronald, were you in a nursing home?
Yes, I was in it for 5 years.
And are you out in the community now?
Yes, I'm on. Access Living have me out in the community now.
Okay. And what do you do with Independent Voices? What kind of activities does Independent Voices do?
Well, we go out and get people out of nursing homes and make them know that they got ways to get out. And
Okay. And has it been better in the community for you, or was it better in the nursing home?
yes, it's been better for me because you have your own ways and your rights and whatever you want to do. Go out when you want to, do anything you want to.
Okay. Thank you, Ronald.
Thank you.
We have Desiree here today. Desiree, do you want to say something about yourself?
Yes, my name is Desiree Williams. I was in the nursing home for about 6 years before I got out.
And were you happy while you were in the nursing home?
No, indeed.
And
Very miserable.
And what do you think most people feel when they're in the nursing home?
Depressed, isolated. They feel like they have no one
Yeah.
on the outside that understands what they're going through.
And can we do something about that?
Of course.
And what does Independent Voices do about that?
We are people as a group or individuals that go in nursing homes
Yes.
and let people in the nursing homes know that there's help on the outside available for them to live in the community.
Okay. And sometimes we say it's better in the community. Would you agree?
I agree wholeheartedly.
And are we going to keep fighting to get people out of the nursing homes?
Yes, I hope so.
I hope so too. Okay. Thank you, Desiree.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Okay, I'd like to continue my interviews with some folks from Independent Voices. I have Chris here with me. Chris, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, my name is Chris Watts. I'm a part of ADAPT and AYLP and Independent Voices, and also DRAC and DON.
So you're a disability activist, right, Chris?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, I am.
Okay, and would you ever want to go into a nursing home?
No.
No.
No, I don't.
Okay, and what do you think Independent Voices does?
Help people get out of the nursing homes
Yeah, they tell people
and
about
tell
their
people
rights,
about their
right?
rights. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you, Chris, for your
Thank you,
time.
Tom.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, we have one of the co-chairs of Independent Voices here with us today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Michael Grace. I'm a longtime activist with Access Living. I'm very involved in many of the groups that we have here at Access Living.
Okay, can you tell me why you got involved with Independent Voices and if you've ever been in an institution?
Well, the reason I got involved with Independent Voices is I have been in several nursing homes, and I wanted consumers that were in nursing homes to have a voice.
A voice to just do what?
So they could speak up for their rights and know about different programs and options.
Okay, what supports do people need to be able to move out of a nursing home?
Well, I think the number one support is home services.
Okay.
That's a program where consumers with disabilities live in their own home or their own apartments where their personal care assistants help them to bathe, cook, clean, and go to some doctor's appointments.
Okay, is affordable, accessible housing an issue for people?
Yes, it is, and it's been an issue for a very long time. And I am advocating for that issue as well.
Okay. Another question I guess I'd have is, I understand that people in nursing homes only get $30 a month. Is that correct?
That is correct. And that's been a concern of mine for a very long time.
But with that $30, does that make people kind of, what would I say, stuck? Does that mean that it's very hard for them to come out of the nursing home?
Yes.
Okay. Now, other things Independent Voices has done, I heard that Independent Voices was involved in a campaign to close Alden Village North. Can you say a little something about that?
Yes. Independent Voices has been involved in that issue for a very long time because several children have died there because they did not get the proper care from the staff at Alden as well as the owner of Alden.
Okay, and this is a nursing home just for children, am I right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else to say about Independent Voices?
I would encourage our viewers to check out Independent Voices on CAN TV. We are a grassroots organization.
Yeah, so anybody can join?
Anyone can join.
Okay, and I would just add that you could call Access Living for more information, and we especially encourage people who have been in institutions or nursing homes to come and join us because they have a real understanding and perspective on what it means to be institutionalized, and it's a way for people to give back if they got help to come out of the institution. Thank you. Yes, I have another person from Independent Voices here with me today. Evelyn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Evelyn Woodson, and I'm a member of Independent Voices, and I'm also an activist for people with disabilities.
Okay. And were you ever in a nursing home, Evelyn?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
How long?
I stayed there the first time. I was there for 8 months,
Okay.
and the second time I was there for 4 months.
Did you get help getting out of the nursing home?
Oh, yes.
It's
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to do by yourself, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very hard.
Okay, now, why do you participate in Independent Voices?
Because we have a group in Independent Voices that shows us how to protest a little bit more against people that's in there and want to get out. We help them. And we also help individuals when they're in the community to learn about the community and go about different programs and stuff they may need being with a disability that, they show them the way to go.
Okay, and would you tell people that it's better in the community than in the nursing
And
home?
you know this.
Okay.
And you know it. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Powers at the Autism Connection. I work with Trumpet Behavioral Health, and we're an applied behavior analysis company that works with children and adolescents diagnosed with autism and other developmental delays. We provide center services, and we also provide in-home therapy to children all around Chicagoland.
Hi, I'm Sally Wilson Gamble, and I am the director of Helping Hands School, Therapeutic School for Children with Autism. I'm from Helping Hands Center. Helping Hands Center has an adult program. It also has a therapeutic outpatient clinic for children with a wide array of disabilities and delays, where we provide occupational, physical, speech, music therapy, and some behavioral and counseling services. And we do have a therapeutic day school that's specific for children whose primary diagnosis is autism. We are actually celebrating our 60th anniversary as a center this year, and are very excited about that. Our adult programming is for adults with developmental disabilities. We provide day programming, some vocational training, job coaching and placement. We have residential services, and also an integrated workshop, our subcon program. And that kind of sums up what we provide.
Okay, well, thank you very much. My name is Wanda Sumler. I am the Clinical Director of Community Service Options. Community Service Options is the independent service coordination agency servicing individuals who reside on the south side of Chicago with developmental and intellectual disabilities. We are one of 18 independent service coordination agencies in the state of Illinois. Each of us services a different geographic area of the state. What we do is we register individuals on PUNS, which is Prioritization of Urgency of Need for Services. That form functions as the waiting list for services in the state of Illinois for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. When an individual is selected from the PUNS, then we help to determine eligibility for services, we apply for funding, we link individuals with service providers, and then we provide ongoing advocacy to ensure that those services continue to meet the needs of the individual.